Don't mind my face. This is the I am full of allergies face, and also I am overdosed on antihistamines right now. So I'm very late making this video today. It's like 4:30 in the PM right now, and normally I make videos at like 9 o'clock in the morning, but here I am. I was up nearly all night and I slept and I've been busy, but I'm here now. All right, so Sebastian Rogers. Well, I've got some thoughts about, you know, the neighbour who came out talking to JLR, but actually I'm going to focus on Seth. I know there are some creators who think that I'm being very, very mean to Seth. Well, I say what I see, and what I see is a very angry person, and I see someone who is grieving. I see someone who is missing his son terribly, but I also see someone who is lashing out unfairly, and the amount of inconsistencies. If, you know, the boot was on the other foot and it was Chris and Katie coming out with all these inconsistencies, then everybody would be up in arms, wouldn't they? Yeah, all right. So it was good of the neighbour to come out and talk to JLR, because even though she was kind of a little bit snidey and clearly biased towards thinking that maybe perhaps Sebastian didn't make it home, because there's no proof that he made it home from the Texas Roadhouse, even though, you know, the silhouette has to be Sebastian, doesn't it? Because Seth said that it walked like Sebastian, and as someone said in my comments when I went through that interview of the neighbour, someone said in my comments when we got to, you know, the neighbour across neighbour, seeing Katie walk by the window, you know, on her way to bed, and, you know, the lights on in the house, the camera across caught Katie walking across, and somebody said, well, Katie's a different shape to Sebastian. So I would imagine that if it was Katie pretending to be Sebastian taking out the trash, that silhouette would be a different shape. And anyhow, he did make it home. The cops know he made it home. We all know he made it home, really, except for those who are continually biased. Yeah, the neighbour confirmed Katie's timeline, so that was good of her. Don't know whether she meant to, but she absolutely did confirm Katie's timeline. I put this really nice spreadsheet together, colour coded and everything. The only controversial thing, really controversial, was the flashlights. That she's now claiming that the lights weren't the trash truck. However, the trash truck did come by between 5 and 5:30, so the lights on Honeysuckle Drive could have been the trash truck, as Seth has said, you know, because apparently law enforcement told him it was the trash truck. Chris has also come out and said it was the trash truck, but neighbour is now saying that there were more lights. There were more lights in the neighbourhood about 3:30, and there was a car parked on the corner of Kelling and Stafford, and you can actually see lights. You can actually see lights. Someone pointed me to this video that had been shared in my Facebook group a while ago, and I'd just forgotten about it, but you can see lights come on. So it looks like someone, like in a car on the corner, turns their lights on, like their front lights in the vehicle. We don't know what time it was because the camera is stuck on 3:11 AM and 4 seconds. So we don't know what time it was, but Kelly neighbour says, through her vast knowledge of the neighbourhood, because she's a bit of a busybody, she's just a local busybody, isn't she? Anyhow, so yeah, there's some useful stuff there. And the lights that were between the yards that apparently corner neighbour's camera caught, because it's corner neighbour's camera that caught the lights on Honeysuckle at something past 5, which was the trash truck. It's corner neighbour that I'm showing right now that caught the lights turning on, and it will be corner neighbour who caught the lights between the yards. Well, that kind of confirms the dog track, doesn't it? Because Chris has told several people that The dog track went from the house, down the fence, and then across the neighbour's yard, diagonally, and then up Kelly, and then to the construction site. Kelly neighbour also confirmed that there were scents, and she also said that, something that I didn't know, that the dogs also alerted on one of the dumpsters, which is why they went to check the landfill in Kentucky. It's very convenient timing, as I said in my live stream yesterday. It's very convenient timing that this neighbour has come out right now. The reason being that Seth is in a whole lot of hot water and lots of people are talking about him, so they have to get the attention back onto Chris and Katie, don't they? All right, but over to Seth. So people have said to me, you know, when I've said, and I'm one of the creators that allegedly with Brittany J didn't mention by name, but I'm one of the creators who said that Seth has said that Sebastian going to live with him was a punishment.
There are certain creators that keep saying this over and over, that Sebastian was going to be made to live with you because he was being punished. Can you please clarify that? Because I don't believe that's to be the case at all.
I'll clear it up with this comment. While I was homeless in California going through a divorce and finally got the restraining order and everything cleared up in the court system, where everything that somebody had stated about me was proven false.
There you go.
And there was nothing could be proven that anything she said was legitimate at all, but everything that I stated was legitimate, clear down to police reports. For my son to tell me that he'd rather live in the car with me than in that house with his mom, that should tell you.
Yeah.
My son wasn't being punished to come live here with me. He thought he was being punished with online school. But he needed to get into therapy, and he needed to have that year of just being online school. And what people don't realize is that he'd have been going to online school, which I still have him registered for and enrolled. I'm just hoping that I have him found and back to me before school starts.
Well, do you want to hear exactly what he said? Said this is on the lab.
Well, you know how Chris said, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda? Hindsight's 2020. He was supposed to come live with me last year.
Oh, okay.
But I gave my son another chance to straighten his behavior up and actually apply himself at school, which he is fully capable of. But and he has. He's straightened up some, but he's still coming. He's already registered for school up here.
Oh, okay.
You know, I want him here. He wants to be here. You know, it's.
Could that have any? Could this have any bearing on him going missing? I mean, is it possible that he wanted to be with you, so he ran away and got lost, possibly?
See, and that's what I don't think so, because he didn't leave with his phone. He didn't attempt to call me. You know, his godparents live up in Clarksville too, and he has their phone number. He could have called them. He could have called and reached out for me, but he also knows that on the weekends that he's with his mom, I'm at work.
That was on the lab. And, yeah, does leave him home alone, actually, doesn't he? Does leave him home alone for between 12 and 16 hours.
I just get the feeling that if the other parent left him that long, there would be an outrage. Katie knew what I did. She knows how long my shifts are. She knows that I work nights and I work 12-hour shifts. She knew everything before she came up, before we even agreed to that.
Well, here's the thing, too. I'm listening to what Seth says.
Katie, Sebastian would get off at 3 o'clock, and Katie wouldn't get home until 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So if you think that me leaving him for 12 hours while I go to work at night, she left him at home alone as well during the day.
I remember hearing Chris say
He's
that.
15 years old. No, we communicated about that, because one of the things that I wanted her to make sure that she understood is that I work 12-hour shifts. Sometimes I have to stay over. It's mandated, and I have to pull 16-hour shifts because we're shorthanded. We got to have officers there for the inmates.
But Seth, you just carry on sending those cease and desists, because I'm sure law enforcement are really happy with you, aren't they?
I praise God every day I got joint custody. Do you think I wanted full custody? Without a doubt. I should have my son living with me right now. But yeah, I'm still a suspect of my son's disappearance. You guys don't know what kind of effect that has on a person's psyche. To know that I'm getting phone calls from law enforcement about me sending out cease and desist from my attorney, who is doing her job because she wants to make sure that people in the legal system know that these people do not represent me, and therefore they have been sent a cease and desist.
So law enforcement did not want you to send out those letters?
No, law enforcement has called me about it because everybody's up in arms that I sent out a cease and desist.
Think I'm being hard on Seth? All right then. If people were prepared to give Chris and Katie grace, I might say the same about Seth. And I don't think, and I've never thought, that any of the parents had anything to do with Sebastian going missing. Not directly, anyway. But it's very clear that Sebastian did not want to go and live at Seth's because he did feel, in Seth's own words, that online school was a punishment. He didn't want to go there. He didn't want to go there. Maybe he felt he had nowhere to turn. Teenage angst and hormones and change of life circumstance that he really didn't want to happen. And maybe he just went out for a walk to clear his head. And here we are, 3.5 months down the line. Where is Sebastian? Where is he?